We gotta work out all our kinks right now. Very first podcast. We gotta work out where we're looking, how we're sitting, what we're looking at,
how we're talking.
Yeah, gotta cut out all the fillers. Can't be saying like all the time.
So nice.
There we go. That's our intro. It's been a while.
It's been a minute.
I haven't seen you in, I don't know, 3-4 months.
It's weird to say, but...
Got all this going on now?
It's something. It's called being lazy.
Yeah?
Pretty much.
You don't have razors down in West Virginia?
They do, but not the razors you want. Virginia as well, just so you know.
Is it?
Yeah.
Keep getting that wrong.
Well, I was in West Virginia for 2 months, and then I moved to Virginia.
Oh, I didn't know that. So where are you at now?
Lee County, Jonesville, Virginia.
Okay. How's it going there?
It's good. It's really good. Oh, we got some...
There we go.
Okay. Yeah. About it.
So it's going good?
Yeah. It gets kind of... I guess you could call it lonely, but...
You're just there with a crew of how many?
Well, it's me and 3 other girls, my coworkers, I guess you could call them. But then people come in, usually every week. Different groups from all around the country come in and work for us. But for a while there, it was consistent. We had volunteers every day for 3 weeks, Sunday through Saturday. But now they usually come in on Thursday and leave on Sunday. And then we have like Monday and Tuesday off and Wednesday sometimes, but
does it slow down in the winter?
Yeah, in the winter we'll usually either head back to our headquarters and help them out, or we'll just do stuff around the center, like upkeep stuff and whatnot. But yeah, we'll have maybe 1 or 2 work crews a week in this winter, whereas in the summer we have up to 14, which is like 100 people, down to 10 at the most. We have 1 week where it's literally one guy coming to do work by himself. So, and I don't know if he's skilled or not, so he might just be painting a house.
Everything helps. So, do you have any, stories from that?
Stories.
Is there anything that sticks out in your work?
Well, there's one house that we work at. It's super cool. They have 2... It's just a cool place because they've got chickens all over the place, like not even in pens, just running around. They've got this dog on a chain. He looks like the most fierce animal in the world, but he'll just come up to you and you just pet him. And then there's a pig that walks around just on its own, just chilling. And then there's a tiny pig that like will try to eat your clothes. So it's just an interesting house.
Yeah.
And then you'll go to a place where the whole house is the size of this room right here, 14 by 20. So we built a new addition, like an 8 by 14 addition on the outside, so that they have a bedroom and a place to separate the bedroom from like the living space. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but story-wise, I don't know if I have any. I mean, like, just the day-to-day can be crazy on its own, and sometimes it is just completely random, but there's nothing like too specific that I can't remember. I mean, there's like a couple cool places that we've gone. There's one place where it's like a natural spring just shooting out of the side of a mountain, and you fill up your water bottles, and people bring like 10-gallon jugs and fill them up and whatnot. There's also every year in St. Charles, I don't know who does it, but this guy, there's like a bridge that a railroad tracks are on and whatnot over like a little river. And this guy every year around in October takes this foam like stuffed like human, it's not real, and he like ties a rope around it and hangs it from the bridge over the river. So people just like drive by seeing a hanging body, but it's fake, and they just have no clue. But just weird stuff like that. That's kind of fun. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you get to interact with the people quite a bit, or
like the homeowners, or
the homeowners?
Yeah, I mean, there's some that you'll bond with like 100% and like never want to leave, and you don't want to leave any of them, but
right.
And then there's some that you don't get to know as much. You may not be there as long. You may not. They may be always in and out and not able to see them as often, but for the most part, most of the families we connect with, and I mean that's part of when we're going through is that's one of the check marks is of like if you'll bond with the family well enough, or like not that we wouldn't work for them otherwise, it just kind of something to look out for as well, because it is like an interesting ministry. I mean, without the volunteers, we wouldn't be able to do any of the work. So you kind of have to appeal to what volunteers kind of want out of the experience. So, I mean, they don't really know about that. And it's just part of it that you don't really think about, like trying to appeal to that side too.
Right.
Of like, this is an experience. Someone is coming for many different reasons. Some people just want to come and work. Some people want to meet families and meet people. And some people just want a week away from work with their church, I guess. But you have to kind of try to appeal to all of it. So
it's mostly church groups that go down? Yeah,
it's typically a church that will come down. There's one community, I think it's Cohasset in either Connecticut or Massachusetts, but they're just like a community, like a couple little cities that, or maybe not a couple cities, but the city of Cohasset, I guess, where they don't go with the church, but they all just kind of go together, just random people from the city. So they're really fun too.
Yeah. Because
you have every day, there's a thing called an evening gathering that we have planned, but we don't always do it. But it's usually like a faith-based type activity or whatever. And a lot of the groups come for that as well, for their like youth and whatnot, because they want that as part of it. But people that don't come as a church either like it or don't, but it's just cool because anybody can come and anybody can have a good time, and everybody gets something else out of it than what they were expecting. So,
right. And then from last time you were on, you were also in Europe.
Oh yeah.
Do you still remember that? That was probably a while ago.
Yeah, that was.
Time goes so fast.
I'd say 2 months then. I don't know how many, August and September. Like, it had to be at least 4 or 5 months ago, I would say.
So you were in, if I remember right, Amsterdam and France?
Amsterdam, France, and Brussels. Okay. And little tiny places in like the Netherlands and whatnot. But
how's the European lifestyle?
You know, it's interesting. Like, they do things just so differently. And like, not in a bad way. Like, the biggest, I guess mainly because we had to buy every meal that we had. We couldn't just prepare meals. But the most annoying thing was the way they do it in restaurants is everybody's on one ticket.
Really?
Yeah, and they don't
They won't split it?
Yeah, some places won't do it. Some places where they have more tourists and whatnot know that like they're gonna ask to split the bill, but they don't do it. So if you don't have cash or like Venmo or something, and that person's picking up the tab, like you're kind of.
So that's what I was gonna say. Do you guys divvy like each one up, or do you like I'll take this one, you take the next one?
Well, unfortunately, it's kind of expensive to do it either way. But usually we'd try to just like pay cash and everybody pitches in what they had or whatever. But you just spend so much money. It's also the places we went were just so expensive. Like there was even the rundown like mom and pop type stuff was still expensive. Like you couldn't get away from paying a lot of money.
And then, do you tip for service over there? Yeah, I thought I've heard that
included. Okay.
So do you get good service or not? I've heard some people say, like in France, they know they're not getting tipped. They won't even show up at the table.
Well, the way it kind of works is you have to like call them over. Mm-hmm. Like they won't come to you if they don't check in on you or whatever. You just call them over and say, I need this or that, or I'm ready for the ticket or whatever. But yeah, it's really annoying. I'll say that.
Yeah.
And then also the euro is, the dollar is worth less than the euro. Right? Is that how it works? So like
I haven't looked lately.
Well, because you like say you wanted
check. Dollar to euro conversion.
Well, you say you want like €1, it's going to be like $1.20 or something stupid like that. So that
and they usually get you on a fee for the exchange too, right?
Mm-hmm. US dollar is 0.88 euro.
0.8 euro. So it's more valuable than a euro.
The US dollar.
The US dollar is, yeah.
Okay. Oh.
Yeah.
Well, how about it? But
they probably get you on the exchange though.
Interesting. But you still end up spending more because more. Wait, no. How is that possible?
Grab some kombucha.
Oh.
Yeah, I had a friend that was over in Germany recently.
Germany's cool.
He said they spent quite a bit of money. He said over there though, like beer would be cheaper than bottled water. Ooh. I don't know if that was an exaggeration or if...
That's the other thing. They don't have like...
I keep going.
Everybody there drinks like seltzer water.
Yeah, really.
It's the most annoying thing. You have to ask for still water if you want just normal water. If not, you're going to get carbonated water.
Really?
And it's awful. I hate it. Well, I mean, it's not awful. I mean, I can... Just, it's not what you're craving when you're like eating a meal and like, oh man, I'm so thirsty. And you just get like...
Yeah.
It's... And it comes, you have to buy it. You can't just get tap water. It comes in a glass, and it's just like Avia, or I don't remember what the brand is, but it comes in a little weird bottle. That's all they have. So you're better off just getting a beer, yeah.
Get your carbonation that way.
That was probably the best part of the... here's a good story. We were in... I think it was Brussels. Well, first of all, Brussels is such a rich country. Mm-hmm. Or whatever they are. It's everything. Like, we were walking down the street at 3 a.m. and this party was starting. Like, and all these
I remember you telling me that.
These people were pulling up in, like, Rolls Royces and, like, getting out, and they're all dressed. There was a red carpet, and it was the most insane thing. It was ridiculous. The McDonald's. The prices were not normal. There was a McDonald's there. The McDouble was like €4. Like, it's just ridiculous. You can't even eat there without going broke. We had to go to like the dumpy part. If you like look on my Instagram, or not my Instagram, my Snapchat at the time, I would like post pictures of this giant mound of trash.
Oh, I remember those, yeah.
That was the area that we were in to get food that was cheap enough to... like have enough money for the rest of the trip. But anyway, we're at this like really cool bar, and there was this Englishman, 2 English dudes, and one other guy that was so drunk I don't even know where he was from. But it was really cool because he studied in America. I don't know where, but he studied U.S. government.
Okay.
And he knew so much. He's like, I bet you $10 that I know more than any American about America or whatever. But then he knew all the presidents in order. He knew all the states and all their capitals. There's a couple other like little things that we should all know. But yeah, it was just really funny. And he like bet us a beer that he could name, like I said, all the states and all the capitals. And then he bet us another beer that he could name all the presidents in order. And yeah, he was fun. He had a bunch of cool stories. The other guy owned like a yacht and like kept talking about that. And we're like, okay, whatever. Shut up.
Yeah, seems like you meet all kinds of people anytime you're out and about like that.
Yeah. Only dude we ever met that spoke like perfect English. Ooh. Our bus driver, like our tour bus driver, his name was Patrick. He was the coolest dude ever. He was so funny. His glasses, I bought some after when I got back, but he had like the shades that are up here and you like flip them down.
Oh, yeah.
He was the coolest dude ever. He was so funny. He was in the freaking army. Where was it? It was like, I can't remember where, but he was in the army. He was just really cool. Like he only saw his kids like once a year, but they were like fine with that, and like his wife or whatever. But he would always go skiing in this one country. I can't remember where. But he said that we had to go there. I guess Switzerland? I'm not going there. It might have been. It was, I can't remember where. Let's have to go find Patrick. He said after us that he had to drive a bunch of Koreans around. And he wasn't excited about it. Then...
Have you ever seen those big, they travel in like huge groups. Do you remember when we were in New York? And that the whole hotel was like all, it was us, and then it was a whole group of Asian people. And they didn't speak any English. They'd go in like groups of 30 up the elevator. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, because we were waiting down at the bottom and it was just a bunch of them.
Yeah, we'd be in the lobby and they'd fill up the whole thing. Yeah.
What a trip.
That was a good time. We had so many different things there too.
Your dad prank called us.
Did he?
Yeah.
Really? Our whole room was prank called the whole time. We're always ready for Mr. England to come get us.
Oh, Mr. England. Oh, and then didn't you guys leave him like a
We left him a scavenger hunt, and he couldn't get past the first clue. We had like a penny or something somewhere behind
in
the
the
bed.
safe or whatever?
Oh yeah, it was in the safe.
Yeah.
That the combination was in the clues. This is good stuff, huh?
That's delicious. Every time I take a drink, it's like hard to talk.
I know, it hits your throat. Like, oh. At least I haven't started burping yet.
I've let a couple out. Oh.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right. So drywall, right?
Okay, but okay. Have you ever hung drywall?
No, I've mudded it, but I've never actually hung it.
Maybe we shouldn't talk about this.
Yeah, so they're coming
Why
out
don't
of
we
those.
just... Yeah, like... People would save so much money in the long run if everybody just put a solar panel on the roof.
Yeah, they only work seasonally in a lot of places, though.
Well, true, but...
But it would be better than nothing.
Like, yeah. Exactly. Like, I mean... I don't know. There's just, like... There's so many little spots where we could take advantage of, like, solar energy or like wind energy or whatever, turbine energy. And yeah, it costs money to start, but just feel like it's worth it.
Right, I agree. That's what everybody that's saying that like our biggest crisis is global warming or not having energy. I mean, I think it'll be like anything. We'll come up with solutions to it when we need to. When there's enough pain to make you solve it, you will.
Didn't recently somebody like say that we've got 10, like, I know people are always saying like
irreversible.
Yeah. Like, who said that? That was recent, right? Somebody said that?
Yeah, it was a big, I don't know if it was the United Nations or Andy. Who just made that announcement on global warming? Can we look that up? Good thing we have a fact checker. It was like a month ago.
Where was this?
It was a council. Big,
got like 10 years.
Group.
The panel?
Yeah, what was it called? What was the panel called? IPCC? International Panel of what? Climate change. Yeah. I think it'll be something we'll overcome.
I agree. Like, I feel like people always say that, yeah, we've got so long until we can start doing this. Like, start taking care of our world or whatever. But when's it actually gonna...
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. The United States, no matter what they do right now, is so small compared to other countries that aren't going to comply. So you have, like, China's starting up. Their economy's starting to grow. There's so many more people there. And they have to get... They're still, like, a little bit behind where we're at. So... And all over the world, all the third world countries and everything, I think you have to get people to that certain basic needs met, like a certain level of comfort before they can sit back and go, oh, the world. You know what I mean? It's like the hierarchy of needs. You have to take care of your stuff before you can start fighting global warming.
We just, like... We've built just this weird, like, world. Like, we could have all just been together and figured it out together, but now we've all got to be.
But in some ways, I think it's better having some localized, because you have different problems in different areas. And you have more in common with certain people, like, that are from your, like, specific area. So I don't think you could, the whole world, I don't think you could govern it in the exact same way. It'd be very difficult. Maybe at some point, but...
It's making my head hurt again.
I don't think it's feasible right now. But yeah, I think I think we're still going to have to use non-renewable resources to get certain areas up to speed. And I think you might as well let capitalism, for the most part, play its part instead of trying to regulate certain things. Let the market take care of it.
Speaking of regulation.
I know where you're going with this. Michigan?
Oh, the big blue.
Yeah.
Go blue.
Yeah.
They took a step in the right direction, my friends.
Legal, recreational, right? That's pretty crazy. Canada, several states.
Pretty soon, everybody's going to be...
What do you think about that, though? Do you think it's a good decision?
Sure. I don't know if I can just legitimately think of a bad reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Go ahead.
I think for the most part it's good, but I think it'll be difficult to regulate certain things, especially like driving.
Well, they have...
Like, how long do you wait before you...
They have, now they have a THC breathalyzer.
Is it accurate?
I don't know, but it's kind of like what we were just saying. Like, if there's a problem, we'll figure it out.
Yeah. But the thing with that is, different people probably react to it differently. Like, it could impair someone's vision or it could not. And I don't know if they have any I don't know if there's a certain level that would just automatically change it for you, or how they determine that.
I mean, I guess you could kind of relate it to like alcohol. Like people handle alcohol differently.
Yeah, that's pretty arbitrary too. Like just we make it at a certain point and it goes for everyone.
Which, I mean, I don't think that is a bad thing.
No.
Like, when it comes to driving, make it like the weakest like limit. You know what I mean? Like, you may be able to operate perfectly fine higher than that limit, but this person can't.
Right.
So why not just... I mean, like, there's no way that we can split it up. And I say that... Well, my words don't really matter, but in my mind, it's okay to have just, like, a uniform, like, limit. I mean, it makes it simple.
Yeah.
And, like, so yeah, some people would have to be happy about it, but at least you got it. You know what I mean? There's going to be some rules about it.
Well, that's where you really need rules, because you're putting other people's lives at risk. There's damage to other people. But that's where in some things I don't think there should really be as much regulation if you're not like in a position to hurt someone else. It's kind of a weird thing. Like we have regulations on like smoking, or I guess secondhand smoke harms people, but like I don't know. Have you seen all the Juul recalls and everything? The pods. That's an interesting thing.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Like how they're trying to...
Or even just the age of drinking. Or of being in possession of it.
So you're saying... like you disagree with the regulation of that, like, part of it, because that's a personal choice.
Sure.
Of, like, doing, like...
Or any other, like, drugs that are not...
Okay. I can get...
It's a really slippery area. Like, I don't know how you regulate it.
I think there's some things that, no matter what, could do you harm anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
but is it someone else's position to tell you that you can't harm yourself?
It's some deep stuff.
That's where I mean, like, opiates are a huge problem right now.
Yeah.
So we're seeing a lot of kickback from that. And it's terrible. Especially around here, you see so many heroin overdoses. And even if you're not dying, you're still dependent on it. But a lot of other things you don't become dependent on like that.
Yeah. Well, I think with those things that you can become dependent on, I think, like, with the history of that, I will say it just like drug, I don't know. I think that they should have some say.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it is such like an epidemic. And like people may not choose to be in that. Like they just are sucked into it.
I agree.
Through some of their actions, which may not even have been necessarily their intention or choice. Like, say somebody had like a surgery or whatever, and kind of get hooked onto it by that. But
what if you had other things that could take that place? A non-opiate.
I agree.
Painkiller. That's why I mean, cannabis has been Schedule 1 for so long, and nobody could even study it. I don't
know why. Do any of us know why?
Yeah.
No.
The reefer madness. Have you heard about that?
No.
When it actually got outlawed? Okay, so supposedly the story is a couple congressmen they had a paper company, and they owned a bunch of trees. And at the time,
I think
hemp products were starting to take over.
Sorry, continue.
Hemp paper was starting to take over. Okay.
Ah.
So they stirred up this whole thing and they called it reefer madness. They said that Mexicans were smoking cannabis and coming over and like raping and murdering people. And they stirred this whole big thing up.
What?
Yeah.
That is legitimately like...
That's one of the main reasons, yeah.
What?
Because a lot of the founding fathers grew hemp. Which it's not psychoactive, but even hemp was outlawed in the United States.
Yeah.
Couldn't grow it. That's just for like the fibers or hemp seed or whatever. Which is crazy.
This is insane. See, people just have too much power. It just gets crazy.
Yeah. That's kind of the weird thing of a representative system. And I guess we still have more say than most places, but yeah, there's always systems that is kind of give and take, right? I mean, you get the protection, you get the benefits of it, but you have to take the downsides as well. It's kind of a social contract that you're just born into.
What a world. Proud to be an American.
I am, though. I mean, I think as much problems as we're having now, I think we're still probably one of, if not the best nations.
I would agree. Although I make jokes about it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there still is a lot of problems, but it's getting weird. We're getting very, polarized. A lot of separation. Especially like you were saying in politics. Politics have just gotten kind of ridiculous lately.
I usually tend to just go with the flow and not usually.
Yeah, I try not to look at it very often, but I read the news some. I don't usually watch it. So if I watched it, just kind of makes me upset. But I read the newspaper, it's more. I mean, it still can be biased, but at least you're not like hearing someone else's opinion on the news. It's just you just kind of read the news and make whatever you want of it. But I don't know. It just seems that, especially politically, everybody's going like way far right or way far left, and there's not a whole lot of
middle.
People are just getting obnoxious and just ridiculous. Like they're just trying to see how much crazier they can get. You know what I mean? That's
publicize it all.
Yeah, that's
just to piss somebody off.
A popular election is kind of a weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
Even I don't know. I mean, you can go into that. I mean, there probably should be some requirements on who can vote and who cannot vote. I know that sounds like terrible, but a lot of people aren't even educated on things. Yeah. Like if I go and vote and it's a topic I never looked into or something, I just won't vote on it.
Yeah.
A lot of people just go and vote one side or the other without ever
thinking about it,
educating themselves on it. And it's just kind of a weird thing. I mean, I see why we did away with all restrictions because it was being abused in different ways, but it still seems like there should be some qualification. All right, we rolling? Okay. Back on voting real quick. This year especially, I don't know if you noticed, it was like such a big social media thing. Like everybody had to talk about it.
Picture that little tiny voting sticker.
Mm-hmm. Well, that and a bunch of like celebrities and stuff were all out campaigning to vote. I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's such a weird thing. Like people just vote just to say I voted, post about it, talk about it. It's like they just rounded up a big thing and nobody knew what they were even voting about. You know what I mean? That's another reason why it just, I don't know. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way this year.
Yeah, I didn't get to hear much about like even what was getting voted on and whatnot. I mean, I guess like I could have looked it up, but like I just knew that an election was happening or whatever. We were voting on some stuff. So yeah, I mean, if I went and voted, I mean, how many other people are there like that just don't
had no idea?
Yeah,
right.
But they knew it was happening, so okay, it's my civic duty.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. They stirred it up into an event instead of just like like you were saying, civic duty, but it was like more than that. There's like, let's all go vote.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a weird thing this year. It felt a bit like like just
like what if before you voted, you had to sit down and you had to, like, well, maybe a quiz or watch a video that like explained each one real fast. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that would be great, because then you could say it's not barring anyone from it, because they don't actually have to pass anything, but they're actually viewing something on the topics.
And I mean, people would argue, yeah, it's going to take forever to do that, but I mean, so be it. Make it like a couple day process to
you can put them on a theater.
Yeah,
show it to them.
This is your one time to vote. Everybody, well, you can't do that because there's stuff's got to keep going. Everybody just can't halt.
Yeah.
But we could figure out a system.
I think so.
I myself am not that invested in it, and that I probably should be, but I just am not in a time in my life where it truly actually matters to me. Like, but I do see the issue, and I feel like there is a solution. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. You know, I agree. I probably could have voted absentee, but I didn't.
It's okay.
You know, you hear the thing, you're like, well, my vote it probably wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah. It
didn't really. And I don't know how much day to day the politics really affects me. Mm-hmm. Now, if something major happens, sure, but I mean, you get taxed on it. I mean, there's different things that certainly they do trickle down to you, but I don't know how much it really is.
I'm also just thinking about it, like, I feel like at some point somebody's going to try to like incentivize like voting.
Yeah.
Which
it's like a class selection. You all get a candy bar.
Yeah. I don't know how.
Well, that's what they do. I mean, taxes.
Yeah. But I don't know how. I mean, because then you get to the point where people are like, I'll just go do it so I can get this out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I don't know. In itself, it should be like what you get out of it is what you wanted. So, but
they also, this year, there was a weird thing where they were like, I want to put this the right way, but they were pushing for diversity just for diversity's sake. I'm sure there were a lot of candidates that were very good that were diverse, but some people would vote just based on that and not based on the merit. Which
I'm also going to say that if you just get it out of the way now, you know what I mean?
What are you saying? Just
like there's always a first black president or whatever. Yeah. Like, okay, can we like move on now? You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I don't. Yeah, but I mean.
But I see what you're saying. Like,
no, I just mean I think we should still. We're getting into a weird thing where we're just like doing things just to say like a.
Exactly. Yeah.
Not based on the actual merit of it. Not necessarily based.
Yeah.
Now, some of them, sure, but.
Yeah, I know. I totally understand and agree.
Even in the workplace, we're seeing weird things kind of too. I mean, a lot of it I think is very good. A lot of I don't know, every movement you have, good things come out of it, but there's also a lot of really bad things that have come out of it. Like if we talk about the Me Too movement, there's a lot of good that I'm sure came out of it, but there's a lot of very just weird things now that have happened. You know what I mean?
The what?
You know, you haven't heard about that? You've been in Virginia too long, boy. You've been sitting down there growing your beard. You don't have any.
I told you, I've been on literally. On the
you haven't heard anything about the Me Too movement? That was like a huge thing the whole last year.
What?
Like sexual harassment in the workplace and just
like Title IX.
How would you? Oh, I mean, kind of.
Girls would like start tweeting like me too, like hashtag me too, like it's happened to them too, type of thing.
Yeah.
What was that?
But it started with like, when did it start? It started with like
Hollywood, kind of.
Hollywood, a lot of producers, and directors.
Yeah.
They would have exposed, and so people were getting
exposed.
Basically, and then it just like it was a big thing, and then everyone was
right. Which was good that they took down some of that culture, but there were a lot of casualties that a lot of people were almost guilty until proven innocent instead of the other way around, if you know what I mean. And it just gave a lot of people, there's really weird dynamics kind of going on. And a lot of people just felt uncomfortable, I think, in the workplace even. It just kind of changed relationships in that way. Like, it makes you really second guess everything that you're gonna
like, even just like down to what you're about to say.
Yeah, like if you just wanted to make a comment, you have to like really check yourself. Or if you wanted to like grab someone's shoulder, like it could be seen very negatively now. Which is just, it kind of, I don't know, it puts us in a weird place.
Yeah.
There's so many things. I mean, there's just so many examples of things like that are going on right now.
No, yeah, And I think there is some stuff that I'd like to say, but I don't really want to speak about it over this. But
I know, that's why I kind of tread careful waters coming into it. Go ahead and let it out.
No,
we'll have Andy cut it out.
Like, don't put this in the video. Okay. But like,